Welcome back to Sometimes Love Isn't Enough. I am your host, Angie Grant, and today I want to talk about struggle. I know as a parent, man, struggle can sometimes feel like the daily thing, right? You might be feeling like you're struggling to stay afloat, struggling to manage your child's behaviors, struggling to coordinate school and sports and dinner and getting your kids from here to there, struggling with the balance between work and home. Struggle might feel like it's it's the problem. Struggling might feel like something that you need to fix. Today I want to talk about the idea that what if the struggle isn't really a problem? I know it feels like a problem. I'm not dismissing that at all. But what if what is happening to you, what you're experiencing right now, this loop that you've been stuck in, what if it's actually a sign or a symptom of something much bigger, something perhaps that you hadn't yet considered? I know that when when we are living our life and we're, going through the motions of everyday life, when we are pushing for growth, pushing for change, there will come a point where you will outgrow your story. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're in this space where you're, you know, pushing for, reaching for your highest self or pushing for, to make more money at work or pushing for something bigger or better. But it may be that you're in this space where you're not really interested in settling for what life has. Yet, what's happening in your current life may not be what you want at all. It may be, full of uncomfortable or problematic relationships. Your current life may be, struggling to pay the bills or to keep food on the table, or your current life may be have relationships that are no longer serving you, yet they're what you know. It is your comfort zone, even if current life feels uncomfortable. So when we're in this space where we feel like we're stuck in this struggle, I ask you to reflect on, is it possible that instead of being stuck in this swamp of struggle, is it possible that you're actually just leaning off the very edge of what once was and looking forward to what is going to come? Because all too often when we feel like we're stuck in this misery, this struggle, when we feel like it's this never-ending loop on repeat of things not going well, sometimes when we notice that and pause and take a step back, we realize that we're not stuck at all. We're just holding on so tightly to what once was in the past while also being terrified of the unknown of what is about to be. And it is in this space, this fear of letting go and fear of the unknown, where we can often find ourselves in struggle. I think about that image of, that on the playground or, whatever it might be, but one kid's in the middle and one kid has their right arm and they're pulling them one way, and another kid has their left arm and they're pulling them the other way. And it's that same concept, right? The kid in the middle is feeling the struggle. They're feeling the tension in their body as they're being pulled in two very different directions, even though they might just love the friend on the left or the friend on the right. Or maybe they're trying to get away from one of the friends, right? It, or they're terrified of the other friend. It can have so many different scenarios, but the point being that being that kid in the middle with all that tension and that stress and that pressure and those fear of what is, fear of the, repeating the pattern that you're stuck in, and yet this paralyzing fear of the future, fear to let go and see what happens. This fear of the future, when we think about parenting, right? When we I'll often hear parents talk about school, right? So as parents, we have a we have a variety of options when it comes to schooling, at least in the state of Wisconsin where I live, that we get to choose to send our kids to our traditional public school where we live. We get to choose to send our kids to a private or chartered school. We get to choose to opt for virtual school for our kiddos or for homeschool. All of them are options. And yet we may be in this struggle where a child is not succeeding, they're not happy, they don't feel safe or okay to be their authentic self where they are. And yet we're so afraid of the unknown. We're so afraid of a schooling option that we've never experienced. So we don't know anybody has experienced it, or afraid that we won't be able to afford it, or afraid that we won't be able to help our kids stay caught up with, a virtual curriculum, or we won't understand what's happening in a private school because maybe it wasn't how you were raised. That that fear of letting go of what we have, even when it's not working, will keep you stuck and in the struggle. And that fear of the unknown, the fear of what could be, will also keep you stuck. It'll keep you from making decisions that could be the best thing that you ever do. This happens too in our most important relationships. Maybe you're holding on to a relationship that it just isn't right for you anymore, but you're afraid of not being able to afford the bills, afraid of being alone, afraid nobody else could ever possibly love you, right? But here's what I know. I know that one, when you're following your strategy and authority, your your strategy and authority can't lie to you. So if you're a generator type, and which means that you have this ability to trust your sacral can't lie. Or if you have other decision making types through human design, um, if if your decision making type is splenic, or you have to ride out your emotional wave, or um, if you have a self directed decision making type or a reflector, right? Whatever your decision making type is, it cannot lie. It isn't conditioned by the outside world or what society thinks it should do. And so when you're following your strategy and authority and making decisions that are right for you, the fear dissipates a bit. It doesn't, for most of us, it doesn't totally go away until you really are well versed in making aligned decisions. Then I think that the fear really does dissipate more. I don't know if it ever really fully goes away, but I know that by making decisions that are aligned for you, that's one thing, right? That has the power to help us make right decisions for us. And I know that the things that you're afraid of, the things that you're not yet doing, other people have done them and they've survived, right? If you're thinking about jumping into a new relationship or leaving a toxic relationship or making a big move for your family or switching schools or changing careers or stepping out to start your own business or whatever it might be. That fear that you're feeling, that fear that your whole body is feeling, it it's just a response. It isn't the truth because other people have done what you're afraid of and they've survived. So as you're thinking about this idea of perhaps the struggle isn't really the problem. Perhaps what is right in front of your face, the struggle with behaviors, the struggle with paying the bills, the struggle with all of the things, that struggle that you feel may not be the problem. It may, in fact, be fear holding you back. It may be that fear of the future that is really getting in your way and stopping you from the next big decision that could be the most powerful thing that you do for yourself or your family. So this is my challenge for you is to notice what is that fear that's behind that big decision that you're stuck on? What is the fear that's behind the struggle that you're stuck in? And then the second part of that is what do you want to do about it? Right? Fear can be healthy. Fear can help us to be alert and ready to take scary action. But when the fear is too big, it's debilitating and it stops us from doing the next right thing for us. So I I implore you to pick a strategy that works for you. I know for me, it's EFT tapping is my golden strategy to let go of fears that are holding me back and no longer serving me. If that sounds like something that you would like to explore, I'd love to help you out with that. I have a YouTube channel where we use tapping every week to tap through oftentimes fears, but also the energies that we as a collective society are all experiencing. And if you need more targeted, specific support, I offer that too. So when you're ready, I'd love to connect with you. And in the meantime, I can't wait to hear what those fears are, what those struggles are that are getting in your way, because they don't have to hold you back anymore. So that is all. And we will talk soon.